All right, we are here. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, put a one in the chat if you can hear me. I want to thank you all for being here with me today. Um, busy week. So, today's live stream is brought to you by the poll results that I posted on my wall earlier today. And today's decision was between exploring a ritual or getting deep into the breakdown of a particular Disney cartoon. And the votes won. The votes for looking at this ritual won. So this is what we're going to do today. So thank you all so much for putting your ones in the chat. Now, this topic that we're going to look into today, it may be boring, it may not be exciting, it's not tea, but from an esoteric point of view, I think it is important because as we have been seeing, there is so much that goes on that people just brush off. And just because someone brushes something off doesn't mean that it's not important, okay? A lot of what we've been covering in this Esoterica Obscura series, it is all interconnected. And a lot of times we're wondering why we're seeing some things happen in the world. We're wondering why some things are the way they are. And it's because of this background, in your face information that people like to ignore or like to say, oh, that's nothing, right? So we're going to get into it. Today, we're going to be looking into the Bohemian Club. Okay, I know everyone knows or has heard, Bohemian Grove, right? Bohemian Grove is the land, but the Bohemian Club is the organization that owns the land, all right? So, hey, Sweet Ace of Silhouette. So, let's just start with, it's so funny because you can't even get information about the club. You can't even get information about the club. Let me show you. And we are going to start with sharing our screen. And I am in Safari today. And no, I'm in Safari today because for some reason Google was acting up. My it's so weird. I don't even know. It's so weird. Everything has been weird lately. Let me try this. And I may have to move this over to Google. Oh, snap. My shoes are here. I'm so sorry, y'all. I just saw the FedEx truck pull up. My boots are here. I ordered me some cute boots. Why is this not allowing me to share the screen? It doesn't allow me to share the screen. Okay, let me just hop on over to, I'm gonna have to pull this up in Chrome because it's just not working in Safari. They lied, honey. They lied. So let me do this. Hold on one second. Let me do this. Put a 2 in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, I had to switch over to Chrome. Put a 2 in the chat if you can hear me because this is just fucking bananas. Let me tell you all. I was looking at some information earlier today, and when I tell you my computer went haywire, it went haywire. Now, I'm not going to say that people don't want me to look at this information. I'm not going to say that at all. But I can say that when I stopped looking at certain information, my computer was fine. Okay, so I will say that. Okay, so now let me now let me share the damn screen. Now let me share the damn screen. Now let me share the screen. Okay, where is it? This is the one. Okay. So like I said, when looking for this information, I just find it so very interesting because you really can't find anything. You really can't find anything. So, um this is good old buddy old pal Google. Okay, I typed in Bohemian Grove Club. Okay. I typed in the Bohemian Grove Club. Okay. You can click on Wikipedia here. You can click on it here. When you go to the Bohemian Club homepage, and let me make this bigger so everyone can see. When you click on the Bohemian Club homepage, it goes here. Just to log in, use your membership information to log in, right? So you can't even find out information. I mean, just basic history. You can't even find just basic history about this organization. Okay. You have to rely on Wikipedia or some other book or something. You can't even get basic information about this organization. Okay. You can't even get basic information about this organization. So let's go back. So yeah, the only thing you can do Bohemian Grove, you can look through Reddit and all like that. But to get any type of information about the Bohemian Club, you have to go through Wikipedia. Okay, you have to go through Wikipedia. So Bohemian Grove again is the plot of land. Okay, 2,700 acres owned by the Bohemian Club. Okay, it's a private club. And remember I told you all, the state of California is the real occult powerhouse of the United States of America. All these clubs, these buildings, interesting sites to see, different schools and stuff like that, movements that came to the West Coast. California is what people think New Orleans is, okay? But the Bohemian Club was founded in 1878. It's an all-male club, okay? And every year in July, the club meets at Bohemian Grove, okay? The club meets at Bohemian Grove. So like I said, you can't even it's so funny, like even when you try to look it up, nothing really comes up. It's just a bunch of other information from other people that comes up. So, and it's completely different because let me see. Because y'all know I'm a member of a sorority, right? If you want to get history about the sorority, you can actually go to about the sorority, former presidents, history, blase, 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 right? Okay. So as it pertains to the Bohemian Club, you can't get anything except for what's here on Wikipedia. Okay. The only thing you can get is what's on Wikipedia. So that's number one. I found that very, very interesting. Now, and let me see did I which one is it? Okay. So let me see. So this is Bohemian Grove. This is where it is. So I typed it in, Bohemian Grove. Like I said, it's a 2,700 acre site in the redwoods of California. You can see here that this is California. So this is Bohemian Grove here. Okay. But if we zoom out just a little bit, Bohemian Grove. Okay. This is Bohemian Grove. This is the Redwoods Natural Park. Okay. Just a little bit more. Okay, this is the Bay Area of California. Okay, so this down here, this is San Francisco. This is San Francisco. This is Berkeley. This is Oakland over in here. Okay. So it's not too far away. It's like Sonoma County, right? But it's here. Like I said, the actual Bohemian Club, the building where the members meet, is in San Francisco. 624 Taylor Street, San Francisco. So every summer, when these members from all over the world, they come to Sonoma County, California. Okay. And this is about a 2-hour drive from San Francisco to get up here. Okay. So like I said, it's very, very interesting. And when we're talking about certain things, getting information is a good thing to do. So one of the things that I found was, and this is from CIA.gov/library/Abbottabad compound. Okay. The CIA either uploaded this or had someone write this, or or they uploaded a book from someone, but this is the Bohemian Grove and other retreats. And as you can see, this is the slogan or motto of Bohemian Grove. Weaving spiders come not here. And it has the owl. Okay. Weaving spiders come not here. Okay. Again, remember, this organization was founded in the late 1800s. So it is well over 100 years old. Very old organization. Okay. And this is, part of the map of it. Map. Okay. And then as part of the map here is what people pretty much know it for, which is this. When people say Bohemian Grove, they're talking about whatever ritual happens here in front of this large owl statue. Okay. Whenever people talk about Bohemian Grove, this is what people are talking about. They're talking about whatever happens here in front of this, in front of this statue. Okay. Hey, D-Dub. So let's get into this, because like I said, there's always something going on. Okay, there's always some ritual going on. This is just something that's very popular that people know about. And there is something in particular about it that has people like, what the fuck? And we're gonna look at that. Okay. So let's go back to this CIA page. In this book by Harper Torch Books, G. William Domhoff, Bohemian Grove and Other Retreats, A Study in Ruling Class Cohesiveness. Okay. And this was 1974, 1975. So this is not a new book. This is not a new book. So the material from this book was gathered from club members, newspapers, all the other good stuff. Okay. The cremation of care. Again, when we're talking about Bohemian Grove, the focus is always on what the hell are they doing in front of that owl, right? The owl statue, that's this one. And so we can see a little bit into it right here. The cremation of care. Picture yourself comfortably seated in a beautiful open air dining hall in the midst of 2,700 acres of giant California redwoods. Okay, so it's summer, you're outside in an open air theater amongst the trees. It's early evening and the clear July air is still warm. Okay, dusk has descended. Okay, so dusk has descended. Sundown, the sun setting. Okay, you finished the dinner. You are sitting quietly with your drink and your cigar, listening to welcoming speeches and enjoying the gentle light and eerie shadows that are cast by the two stemmed glass lights flickering softly at each of the 100 outdoor banquet tables. Okay, so this is outside. You are about to be initiated into the encampment of the cremation of care. Out of the shadows on one of the hillsides near the dining circle, there come the low, sad sounds of a funeral dirge. As you turn your head in this direction, you faintly see the outlines of men dressed in pointed red hoods and red flowing robes. Some are playing funeral music, others are carrying long torches whose flames are a spectacular sight against the darkened forest. So it's nighttime. You hear funeral music. People dressed in robes are coming out of the forest. The music is sad, like funeral music. As the procession approaches the dining circle, the dim figures become more distinct, and attention fixes on several men not previously noticed who are carrying a large wooden box. Upon closer inspection, the box turns out to be an open coffin, and in that coffin is a body, a human body, real enough to be lifelike at a glance, but only an imitation, made of black muslin wrapped around a wooden skeleton. This is the body of care. Okay. So the cremation of care, like I said, every time people are talking about this, when they're talking about what's happening this here at nighttime with the fire or whatever, the ritual is called the cremation of care. Okay. Is everybody with me so far? Is everybody with me so far? Okay. Sorry, I said the fuck. Yeah. So it's what they do. This isn't me. This is what they do. Um, they're carrying this coffin of a mummy, a fake mummy. It's lifelike enough, and they're carrying this mummy with the funeral procession music. Okay. Um, with the funeral procession music. Girl, you're fine. You know we cuss over here. The funeral procession music. Okay. So this is the body of care. Remember, the ritual is called the cremation of care, symbolizing the concerns and woes that important men supposedly must bear in their daily lives. It is dull care that is to be cremated this first Saturday night of the 2-week encampment of Bohemian Grove. Okay, so the members of the Bohemian Club, they come out to Bohemian Grove, the land that they own, for 2 weeks in July, and it kicks off with this ritual, the cremation of care, in which there is funeral music, a procession. These people dressed in robes, they are carrying a coffin with a very real, according to what we just read, with a very real human-like body. Okay. All right. So, yeah, this is crazy. So, let's continue. So, more people come in, and this is a long ritual. I'm not going to read everything, but I'm going to read the things that I think are important. And anyone can find where I'm reading this at. I'll probably put the link in the description box of this video when we're done. The cortege now trails slowly past the dining area. The men in the dining circle fall into a line behind the hooded priests and pallbearers. Okay, this is a ritual funeral. Following the body of care towards its ultimate destination. The entire parade, all white, mostly elderly, makes its way along a road leading to a picturesque little lake that is yet another of the sylvan nights the Bohemian Grove has to offer. Okay, we talking about this. Okay, this is the lake. This is the lake. It takes about 5 minutes to make their march to this new setting. Once at the lake, the priest and the body of care go off to the right in the direction of a very large altar which faces the lake. Ta-da! This is the altar. Okay. And you can see this here. This is performance at Bohemian Grove circa 1925. Okay, so this is 1925. This is the lake. This is the altar. This is the very famous owl here in the trees. Okay. The followers talking quietly and remarking on once again, perfect grove weather, move to the left so they can observe the ceremony from a green meadow on the other side of the lake. They will be about 50 to 100 yards from the altar, which looms skyward 30 to 40 feet and reveals itself to be in the form of a huge owl whose cement shell is mottled with primeval green mosses. Okay. Your favorite owl right here. Okay. This is the altar. These are people dressed up. Like I said, this is an old picture from 1925. Okay. The priests and their entourage continue for another 200 to 300 yards beyond the altar to a boat landing. There, the bier is carefully transferred onto the ferry of care, which will carry the body to the altar later in the ceremony. Okay, so I want you all to think about all the different things that I've taught you. Elements, ritual, altar, all of these things, okay? The ferry loaded, the torches are extinguished, and the music ends. The attention of the spectators on the other side of the lake slowly drift back to the owl shrine. It is illuminated by a gentle flame from the lamp of fellowship, which sits at its base. Okay. People who have seen the ceremony before nudge you to keep your eye on the large redwood next to the owl. Moments later, an offstage chorus of woodland voices begin to sing. Then a spot illuminates the tree that you've been watching, and there emerges from it a hamadryad. Sorry, I don't speak Greek. A tree spirit whose life, according to Greek mythology, is intimately bound up with the tree in which it lives. So you can kind of think of it similar to, remember the mother tree spirit from Pocahontas, the Disney movie Pocahontas. She was the tree. She was the tree spirit. This is the same same thing. The tree spirit begins to sing, telling the supplicants that beauty and strength and peace are theirs, as long as the trees of the grove are there. It sings of the temple aisles of the wood that are made for your delight and implores the Bohemians, the members, to burn away the sorrows of yesterday and to cast your grief into the fires and be strong with the holy trees and the spirit of the grove. Okay. And I'm reading this so you can have a picture in your head, because we're going to watch video and then I'm going to explain what's going on. Only natural illumination from the moon and stars remain, and it is time for the high priest and his many assistants to enter the large area in front of the owl. The owl is in his leafy temple. Let all within the grove be reverent before him. Okay. Then he speaks the motto of the club, weaving spiders come not here, which is a line from William Shakespeare's A Midnight Summer's Dream, which is another esoteric Freemason like written work. Okay, Freemasonry and the powers that be in these clubs and stuff that they're in goes back hundreds of years. Okay. So, the priest walks down to the edge of the lake, makes a speech, and says, "Shake off your sorrows with the city's dust and scatter to the winds the cares of life." This is the cremation of care. Okay. Our funeral pyre awaits the corpse of care. A horn sounds. Anon, the fairy of care, okay, begins his brief passage to the foot of the shrine. So they're bringing the body across the water. The high priest calls on dull care, which is the arch enemy of beauty. Okay, the arch enemy of beauty. He shouts, "Bring fire," and the torch bearers bring the fire. The acolytes seize the coffin lifted high above their heads and carries it to the pyre in front of the mighty owl. Okay, so Care himself, the fake body, says, "Fools, fools, fools, when will you learn that me you cannot slay? Year after year you burn me in this grove, lifting your puny shouts of triumph to the stars. But when again you turn your feet towards the marketplace, I am not waiting for you as of old. Fools, fools, fools." Okay, so Care is pretty much saying, you do this every year, but I still come back. You do this every year, I still come back. Remember, this is the body. This is the fake mummy that's in the coffin that they brought across the lake to be burned in front of the owl. The high priest is taken aback by Care's outburst. Okay. The priest tells all the people there that he knows that when they leave Bohemian Grove, they got to go back and deal with Care. But right now at Bohemian Grove, we're going to have this fun. Okay. The priest says, "We shall burn thee once again this night, and in the flames that eat the effigy will read the sign, midsummer sets us free." Okay, dull Care, the fake body is just like, I don't care what you say. So they turn to the owl. Okay, they turn to the owl. The high priest falls to his knees and lifts his arm towards the shine. "O thou great symbol of all mortal wisdom," he cries, "Owl of Bohemia, we do beseech thee, grant us thy counsel." So the high priest, he turns to the owl. He like, "Owl, I need your help. Please, sacred wisdom owl, give me some help. I need your help." So the aura of the light glows around the owl's head. The owl is going to rise to the occasion. Okay, he asks the owl for help. The owl finna help him. Okay. The owl says, "No fire can drive out Care if that fire comes from the mundane world, where it is fed by the hates of men. There is only one fire that can overcome the great enemy Care. And that, of course, is the flame which burns in the lamp of fellowship on the altar of Bohemia. Hail fellowship, and thou dull Care be gone." So the priest asked the owl for help. The owl said, "Listen, there's only one fire that can truly burn away Care. It's the fire that comes from the lamp of fellowship. And that lamp of fellowship is on the altar of Bohemia." Okay. Altar of Bohemia, this right here. Okay. "Hail fellowship," says the owl. "Dull Care, you got to get the fuck out." Okay. With that, Care is on his way out. The light dies from the dead tree. The high priest leaps to his feet, bounds up the steps, snatches a torch, relights it from the flame of lamp fellowship, just like the owl said. He ignites the funeral pyre and hurls the torch onto the blaze. Okay. The people start singing. "Hail fellowship," they sing, echoing the owl. "Begone dull Care, midsummer sets us free." The wailing, this is actually kind of sick. The wailing Voice of care gives its last gaps. So the body over there talking about some body over there dying. And the music gets even louder and fireworks light the sky. Okay. And then the band starts playing. Care has been banished. Care has been banished. So the ceremony is over. And now it's time for people to fully enjoy their time at Bohemian Grove for 2 weeks. Okay, so like I said, this is that ritual. This isn't mine. This is their ritual. Okay, is everybody still with me? Is everybody still with me? I know that was a lot, but I just wanted to make sure everybody was with me. So this is a club for the very rich and wealthy um from around the United States. Um so many people who were names of yesteryear as well as names of today. Um they're members of this. They're members of this. And these are some names. Like I said, this is a CIA.gov website that I'm on. Okay, so you get all types of people. Senator Robert Taft. Of course, this was from the 70s. So this document that we're looking at is from the 70s. So, these names are old. Democratic Governor Pat Brown, President Hoover, who joined the club in 1913. He was there. So we're getting into these names, these people. Neil Armstrong, astronaut, president of General Motors from back in the day, um, president of Brigham Young University, Henry Kissinger, director of the United States Information Agency. So this is just, people, professor of medical physics and physiology, University of California, Berkeley. Okay. These are older names. Like I said, this is an older document, but you can kind of see the types of names, the types of people with status, people with power, people who have the means to do things, to make decisions that affect a lot of people. Okay. That is who the members of this club is. Like I said, the club is, you can go to the Bohemia Club. The Bohemia Club is the Bohemia Club is in San Francisco. 624 Taylor Street, San Francisco. So this is their building where these people who are members, they can go to their building anytime they want, right? Okay. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. If I'm in Chicago, I can absolutely go to the AKA international headquarters, the corporate office, right? Because they're at 5656 South Stony Island. Okay. But yeah, the Bohemian Club, this is their building in San Francisco. Okay. Now let's take a look at some of this footage. And a lot of times there isn't much footage to see. A lot of times there isn't much footage to see because every time there's some footage is because somebody allegedly, snuck in or, I mean, I'm not out here trying to get footage, but there is usually some footage. I see y'all are starting to put it together. So, and let me mute this. So, whether people like Alex Jones or hate Alex Jones or think he's full of shit, he was someone that snuck in there to record this cremation of care. Okay, this is a super old video. This is super old video from 16 years ago. Okay, this video is called Illuminati Ritual Bohemian Grove. This isn't mine, but that's what this is called. This is Alex Jones. Like I said, this is old. We can't even get no quality off of this. That's how this is. Okay. But yeah, beautiful redwoods. I have yet to see the redwoods. I'm here in California. I have yet to see the redwoods, but um maybe I will. Okay, so this is old, super old video from July 23rd, 1981. So this is the outdoor banquet. I know it looks absolutely terrible, but this is the outdoor banquet. Um, outdoor banquet. They got all types of shit going on here. It'd be some prostitution going on up there from what I had read. Okay, it'd be some prostitution going up there. Okay, you got some owl. But okay. So this is the ritual. I was just reading the ritual. Remember the people, the priests, they're in their robes and stuff like that. They come walking down. They walk down with this body that's in this casket. They sit the casket on top of the altar, which is in front of the owl of wisdom. Okay, they talk to the tree spirit. They got to burn the body. Okay, they got to burn the body because the body is care. Okay, and we not trying to care. Okay, we not trying to care. That's according to them. So
Steve Shepard, ABC News, San Francisco. 9/11, which was pursued here, has lost its power under these friendly streets. So shall we burn thee once again this night? Flames that keep thine effigy. We shall read the sign. Midsummer, set the house aflame.
So that's the body talking about, you gonna burn me once again? Okay. This is filmed. This was filmed when this ritual took place, which is outside. So you have the outside noise and all like that. So try to listen as best as you can to it. Let me make sure I don't miss anything in the chat. Okay. Okay.
Not with me, flame, which hitherto have fought from regions where I reign. Ye fools and priests, I spit upon your fire. Son of all mortal wishes, how, Bohemia, we beseech thee, grant us thy counsel. And how, Bohemia,
So that's the owl. The owl is now glowing. The owl has light in front of it. This is a video from, I think, the 80s. I think from the late 80s or early 80s. I think it said 81. So this is an older video, which is why it looks like trash. But I don't know if you all just caught it. That was the priest. The priest just asked, "Hey, can you give us some help, great owl?" Now the owl is illuminated. The owl about to tell them what to do, which is to burn the body with the fire from the lamp of fellowship, because that's the only fire that can get rid of care.
we thank thee for thy entry. Begone, dull care. Far shall have its will of thee. Begone, dull care. And all the winds that carry with thy dust. Hail, fellowship's eternal flame. Once again, midsummer sets us free. There you see the funeral pyre burning with the effigy of a human, or it could be.
Okay, so like I said, this is an old video, super old video, which is why it's crap. We can't upgrade it to 1080p, but you kind of get the idea. Yeah. Who founded this organization? This organization was founded in 18. Let me go back. I don't want to lie. Let me go back. Bohemian Grove was the Bohemian Club. The Bohemian Club was founded in 1878. Okay, it was the summer encampment was established after the club was formed in 1872. So let me correct my mistake. The Bohemian Club was formed in 1872. Bohemian Grove, the redwoods where they do this ritual and they go hang out for 2 weeks, was put together in 1878. But the Bohemian Club, the actual people that have memberships, that was founded in 1872. Okay. 1872. He was a founding member. One of the founding members was Henry Harry Edwards, because like I showed in the beginning, you can't really find out information about this organization. You type in Bohemian Grove or Bohemian Club on Google, this Wikipedia page is going to come up. But when you go to their actual website, there is no information for their website. Okay. There is no information for their website. Okay. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when you are trying to find information. This is the only information that you can find. Okay. So let me back out of this. So I typed into Google Bohemian Grove Club. You can go to Wikipedia and click here. And then this is the Bohemian Club's actual homepage. When you click here, only thing that it has is membership login. There is, you are not fine. So I don't even know. We all we have really is like Wikipedia, and like I said, this document here that I've been reading from, this is from the CIA. Okay, this website is this is cia.gov/library/Abbottabad compound with some other stuff. Okay, so this document that I was reading from is from 1975. Okay, and there's a book by G. William Domoff. Okay, and this is all this information taken from these different books. But as far as like going to a website and finding the information, it's not happening. It's not happening. Now, when it comes to when it comes to this ritual here, right? When it comes to this ritual here, this cremation of care, what does it really mean? And I'm going to tell you what this really means. And I think some of you all kind of got it. So what this is so when you all question what, like, how many of you have ever questioned why companies or people in power just don't do the right thing? Put a purple heart in the chat if you just wonder, why is it so hard for people to just do the right fucking thing? Why is it so hard for people in power to do the right thing? Why is it so hard for politicians to do the right thing? Why is it so hard for the CEOs and all like that to do the right thing? This is why. They are not trying to do the right thing. Okay? They burn away their cares. Okay? This ritual that I read and we saw part of it, this ritual, the cremation of care, is these people, because I just showed you, there were presidents who were members, politicians, senators, governors, CEOs, people who founded companies, people who have a lot of wealth are members of this. And they come every year. They come every year to the Bohemian Grove a 2-week retreat in the redwoods, and they start off their retreat with this cremation of care. Exactly. The cremation of care. Notice that the cremation of care was a human body. Okay. They are casting their cares away. They don't give a fuck. It's part of their organizational energy to not give a fuck, to do whatever it is without caring. Okay. They don't give a fuck. Like I said, the human effigy, the body that's being drugged down in the casket, they take to this altar, okay, amongst the tree spirits, amongst this is a real ritual, okay? This is a real ritual. They pay attention to it. They do it every year. Like having care, compassion, caring about others, doing what's right for others in the form of a human body that they burn every year is why a lot of these people are some of the most despicable people ever. Okay. Care, dull care, is a human corpse. And all the esoteric energies are there. They're in an open air altar. So that's the element of air. They bring the body across the water, across a lake that's water. You have earth, the owl, the tree spirits. You have fire, the ritual fire that they use to burn away their cares and their worries. They don't give a fuck. These people will put on the facade of caring to make you think that they do care in order to get whatever it is they need from you, support, money, but most of the time it's money. It's whatever they can do for money. Okay? Care in this ritual is the enemy of beauty. When you have these fucking psychopaths, these degenerates, these abusers, these people that take away money from education, or they're charging $500 for one pen of insulin, knowing that a lot of people can't afford that. Care is the enemy of beauty per this ritual. Okay. They are literally destroying their ability to care about other people in this ritual. Okay. And see, care, the human, the effigy is just like, but you do this every year. Like, why you keep doing this? Because I keep coming back. That's why they keep doing it. This is a fire ritual. This is a ritual of transformation where they go from, yes, I care because I live out here in the human world. I go to work every day. I run my company every day. But when you get out to Bohemian Grove, we don't give no fuck. And they're burning their cares away. So when they leave Bohemian Grove and they go back to the real world, baby, they don't care. It only really lasts them a year. It only really lasts them a year. The purpose of this is ritual murder. Ritual murder of the human spirit, of what it means to care and be compassionate to people. The body of care, the human body, the effigy they call dull, dull care, that represents humanity. Okay. They didn't have care written on a piece of wood. They didn't have care made into a piñata. They have care as an effigy of a human body. So this human body, this effigy could be anyone. It could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be a child, it could be an old person, it could be a young person, it could be your auntie, it could be your brother. We don't know we don't know the gender or the age or the race of this effigy. We don't know their religion. We don't know their place of origin. We don't know where their ancestors from. This effigy could be anyone. This effigy could be anyone. And because it could be anyone, it's everyone. Okay. They aligning themselves with the energy of death. Okay. And this is what allows them to move forward in the world doing ruthless, degenerate, underhanded shit. They don't care about anyone except for themselves. Exactly, Alikia. They don't care about anyone except for themselves. They don't care about anyone but themselves. This is not, and part of the, there's always duality and multiple sides, and then there's information that's thrown out there to keep you off the game of what's really happening. For years we heard that this was, oh, they're sacrificing children to Baal, to Moloch. That's not what this is. That is what they've let um be heard and known about this ritual. Okay? That's what they have let be heard and known about this ritual for years, that they out here sacrificing kids to the altar of Moloch, and they out here, devil worshiping. They're not devil worshiping. They're self-worshiping, and they are reaffirming every year that they don't give a fuck about humanity. That they don't give a fuck about humanity. And these are people. Like I said, these are people. There are so many presidents who were members of the Bohemian Club. Bill Clinton. People like to be like, "Oh, Bill Clinton was the first black president." Bill Clinton sold shit out. Okay, NAFTA. If you don't know what NAFTA is, NAFTA. He also, allegedly, used his power and position to take advantage of Monica Lewinsky. Okay, and then lied to everybody. These are not good people. These are not good people. These are not good people, and they keep their membership hidden for a reason. Okay, the people that own these insurance companies, car makers. How many times have you have seen um some shit happen with a car? It's a car accident, and the car manufacturer knew that there was a defect with this particular car, but they didn't say nothing until the accident. But you driving this car, now you get into an accident that this car company knew about this defective shit, but they didn't want to say nothing because they didn't want to have to pay for their mistake. The insurance company that denies people's medicines that they need to live. No one is out here asking for cancer. No one is out here asking for Alzheimer's. No one is out here asking for whatever it is that you need serious medication or serious surgery for. But they deny because they don't want to pay. These are not friends of humanity, okay? This is why, okay, and this is part of the reason why we have so much celebrity culture and celebrity worship, because it is a distraction away from these people. The company that is no longer inspecting the food properly. So, hell, you just might get salmonella poisoning. They didn't want to pay for it. The companies that purposely try to enslave foreign workers, they take their passports so they become slaves to work. The prison industrial complex. Okay, it's a lot of people that deserve to be in prison for shit that they did. They deserve to do their time, not necessarily be fucking slaves. Okay, working on some of these farms. These are not good people. And burning this care, burning away the commitment that they should have to the betterment of humanity and society, they get rid of it every year. Okay. I see my people out in Georgia. Okay, my people in the Atlanta area are just like, why are my utility bills so fucking high? Okay. Because all these companies that are building these AI data centers that require all this power, they have made deals with the power companies. And guess who has to pay for the AI data centers electricity usage? You do. That extra is being put onto your power bill for electricity that you didn't use. Make the data company pay for their own fucking electricity. You didn't use it. These are sick ass people. And again, this is a ritual. This is ritual murder. This is a ritual sacrifice of humanity. It's taking away their care, their feelings, so they can go out here and be ruthless fucks out here in the world. That is what this ritual is. That is what the cremation of care is. This is not sacrificing children. Okay. Now, there are sick fucks out here in all walks of society that do terrible shit to children, but that's not what this is. The cremation of care that happens every year in July. Okay. In Bohemian Grove in Sonoma, California. Okay, amongst the redwood trees, the cremation of care is the ritual murder of humanity. This is the ritual murder of humanity. This is why these companies, these corporations, these politicians, all these people who fucking lie and who do anything to save their own ass and do anything to make money, this is why shit is the way this is. This is the why. This is why this shit, this is why the world is the way it is. And amongst that, and here's what it is. This is why you see, and we see the grandstanding and the faking all the time. The Senate hearings, the commission hearing, the committee hearings. Oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. They are taking money from other people, from other companies, from their friends that they meet at the Bohemian Grove 2-week camping trip. This is how this is they're doing the favors for each other. Okay. And they're doing the favors for each other. They're having important meetings there as well. Meetings that you can't, like now we have the Freedom of Information Act, the Freedom of Information Act, where US citizens can, you're supposed to be able to find whatever information, you petition for it or whatever. And the government is supposed to give you that. Baby, why do you think you can't find some of this information? Because they're out here making these deals and shit at Bohemian Grove to keep it off of official federal record. Okay. And something that I found that is very, very like, listen, they are having these meetings there, they are making these decisions there. It may not be everyone, it may not be every meeting, every decision, but I'm going to show you this to prove my point. I'm going to show you this to prove my point. Okay? So let me pull up I'm going to pull up another tab and we're going to see this together. Let me pull up another tab. And we're going to see this together because I want you all to see. And every now and then you can find Um, every now and then you can find little tidbits of information. Okay, let me copy this right here. And let me go back to StreamYard. Let me pull up so we can see present or invite. Share screen window. Okay. Let's go here. Okay. So, like I said, these people are they're making the business deals. Okay. So here we are. This is a Firefox page. I'm going to put this in so we can all see together. I'm going to enter this address in. Okay. So, let's get into it. The Manhattan Project, an interactive history, U.S. Department of Energy, Office of History and Heritage Resources. Okay. Can everyone see this? Okay. Okay. What? So, what is this right here? What is this right here? Let's make it a little bit bigger because I want you all to see. I want you all to. This says S1 Committee, Bohemian Grove, September 13th, 1942. This is the Committee on Uranium. This is S1 section. The President's Advisory Committee on Uranium was the first administrative step taken by the federal government toward the development of the what? Atomic bomb. They were having meetings or discussions about what was America's most prized or would come to be most prized weapon, which, is aligned with the ending of World War II at Bohemian Grove. That says S1 Committee, Bohemian Grove, September 13th, 1942. Why y'all out there in Bohemian Grove talking about national secrets? Okay. Because the Atomic Energy Act, okay, that is national security. Okay. National security. Hmm. They were discussing this. Who knows what else they discuss out there at Bohemian Grove? But they discussed about the Committee on Uranium discussed. Hmm. Hmm. They discussed about this at Bohemian Grove. Hmm. And like I said, this is from the U.S. Department of Energy. You can see it up at the top, osti.gov. This isn't me. This isn't some shit I made up. This is out here. Not until October 1939 did the foreign-born scientists Albert Einstein and Leo Szilard and the Wall Street economist. Okay, so we got the Wall Street economist, the person who knows nothing about fission, fusion, not a physicist, not a scientist, an economist. Hmm. Economist Alexander Sachs persuaded President Franklin Roosevelt to set up the new Committee on Uranium. Mhm. So this committee, which met at Bohemian Grove, recommended to the White House recommended to the White House that the government fund the acquisition of 4 metric tons of pure graphite. Okay. Additional funds to obtain 50 tons of uranium oxide. Right. No clearance whatsoever. Okay. No clearance whatsoever. But the committee at Bohemian Grove, they didn't told on themselves. You know what? I need to make sure I screenshot this page because I save a lot of stuff. And yesterday I went back looking at some web page, trying to look at some web pages that I saved, and baby, they did not exist, and they were removed from the Wayback Machine, from the Internet Archive. So I keep telling y'all, the war, this new war, people talking about the age of Aquarius. This is about information. This is about information. Okay. Information and boundaries of information. Okay. So yeah. Mhm. Yeah. So, you know, yeah, yeah. So look at the Berkeley, probably Berkeley, California, probably was named after him. Maybe I don't know, but so these people, they all hang out together. Look at this DuPont company. DuPont paint and shit like that, but that's a scientific company. All these and that's what I'm saying. Like all these people hang out together. People like to talk about California. California is this great blue haven. California is going to save us. It's a bunch of these fucking degenerates out here in California, at Stanford, at University of California, at Berkeley. Okay. It's some national laboratories out here in California and shit. It's all types of shit out here in California. That's why I keep telling y'all, California is what y'all think. Esoterically, California is what people think New Orleans is. California, okay, got some deep ass history. California puts on this facade like it's the great blue hype, the great blue hope. California is not. It is not. So that is what the cremation of care is, the ritual from the Bohemian Club that takes place every year at Bohemian Grove in Sonoma, California. The Bohemian Club we saw has its building on Taylor Street in San Francisco. Oh, San Francisco, the great hype, because San Francisco is a city and it's so free and we can all frolic together. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. These people, these companies and shit, they don't care about you and they are absolutely doing their ritual. They're asking for the wisdom of the owl. Okay. They're asking for the wisdom of the owl. I didn't even touch on the owl. I didn't even touch on the owl, but let's look at it real quick. Let's look at it real quick. I didn't even touch on the owl. The owl in esoteric, magical, spiritual circles, the owl is a symbol of what? Wisdom. It's a symbol of wisdom, illumination. Okay. So let's just look right here real quick. Touch on the owl. We're going to touch on the owl a little bit. Okay. Owl goddesses across cultures. Notice that and see wisdom esoterically is a feminine trait. It's a feminine characteristic. Wisdom is from it's women. Okay? The I think the Hebrew name Sophia is a Hebrew name. It means wisdom. Okay? Owl goddesses, because remember they go to the owl statue and the high priest was like, owl, please help us. What type of information, how can we get rid of humanity? What can we do? Great owl. Okay. But the owl, Athena, ancient Greek owl of wisdom. Okay, you got this Celtic flower owl goddess. Okay, you got Lakshmi, the Hindu owl goddess, good fortune. Okay, it's wisdom. But these are what? These are goddesses. They're out there asking the owl for wisdom. They don't have a statue of Father Time. They don't have a statue of Jesus Christ out there. They don't have any type of human. They out here getting the information from paganism. Okay. One of these pagan owl gods. We don't know which one it is, but they're asking the owl. Okay. This is real shit. Okay, real shit out here. Yeah, they've been setting everyone up for failure for a long time. Yeah, absolutely. This is why, and we're just like, what? It shouldn't be this hard to quote unquote end homelessness. It shouldn't be this hard to, why is it that? Do you know if you live in California? And this is something that I found out. If you live in California and you make $80,000 to $90,000 a year in California, you are poor. That is Section 8 in California. Say it one more time. If you make $80,000 to $90,000 a year, that is your yearly salary in California, baby. That's Section 8. That is Section 8 in California. Okay, to barely be at to climb right over the poverty line in California is $100,000. Sleepy B, no, she lives here. Sleepy B can tell you that I'm not lying. She's a California native. I've only been here 2 years. Okay. I see people on Reddit all the time. They're just like, oh my God, I'm moving to San Jose. I need to find a 1 bedroom apartment for $2,500. You are not finding a 1 bedroom apartment for $2,500. Not in San Jose, not in the Bay Area, baby. Mm-mm. You're not finding that. At minimum, a 1 bedroom apartment is $3,000 a month. At minimum. That's just rent. That's not whatever utilities you pay or your groceries or whatever other bills that you have. It's high as hell out here. And everybody does not have a cushy tech job or, is a CEO or something like that. I don't even know how these people are doing it with children out here because it's high as hell out here. It doesn't have to be this way. They allow this shit. The powers that be allows this shit. And this is what I'm saying. The powers that be allows this shit. They allow they allow it. And when they allow this shit, chaos follows right behind it. And this is why these arguments about Republicans versus Democrats or the white people versus the black people. This should really be a fight of everyone who's not part of the powers that be against them motherfuckers. That's really what it should be. You're a California native, you live in Vegas. I know that was a breath of fresh air. So all the shit that's going on in society, all these different ways that we pick and fight with each other, we need to be directing that shit towards them, towards the powers that be, that lie, that scheme, that steal from you. They are allowed to do this to you because all these motherfuckers get together at Bohemian Grove every year in July and burn away their cares for humanity. They sacrifice humanity in ritual death every year to be able to stick it to you. Georgia is high now. Okay. Georgia is high and Atlanta been full for the past 15 years. Okay. My sister-in-law, my husband's sister, was living in Midtown and her 1 bedroom apartment was like $2,800. It's high. It's high out there now too. Atlanta been full and Atlanta been high for years. A significance to July for them, I don't know. That I don't know. And I'm not going to lie and say that I do know. I think that what makes sense to me is that it's a good time to be outside and it's decent. Like the weather is nice here at night. In the summer it's not really hot here. Like we don't have like Atlanta or Texas or Florida summers here. It's really cool. Like it'll be warm in the daytime, but at night it cools off nicely. That is my thought process on it, but I don't know for sure. Now it probably could be, if I'm thinking esoterically, it's it's aligned to Shakespeare because remember that line, weaving spiders don't come here. That's the motto for the Bohemian Club. That comes from Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. You can't have a midsummer night without being in a midsummer night. Okay? You can't have a midsummer night without being in a midsummer night. So that is my thinking. My thinking is because July is nice weather here in the Bay Area in California. Nice summers weather. It really doesn't get humid here. It may get humid, a couple of days in the summer. It really doesn't do humidity here. You can wear a silk press here every day in the Bay Area. Your hair is not going to frizz up and disappear. But I'm thinking that esoterically it's linking back to William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, because again, the motto of the Bohemian Club is weaving spiders need not come here. And that is from Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. So that's my thought process. Okay. She said, I live near Stone Mountain, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 15 plus utilities, the same here in Vegas. Now, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it shouldn't be that much. It shouldn't be that much. Listen, I remember years ago, Mr. Hoodoo and I, we had a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment. We had a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment, and it was $800. It was $800 a month for a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment. Washer and dryer in unit, full kitchen, huge living room. We had a sunroom. Not no more. $800. Not no more. That's prices for like places that you don't want to be, like fucking Arkansas and shit like that. But yeah, that's just for shelter. Atlanta's expensive too. Atlanta is not the cheap no more. And if you have to go out and get to that cheap pricing, you're not going to be in Atlanta. You're going to be like 30 miles from the city. Like Douglasville isn't cheap anymore. Stone Mountain isn't cheap anymore. All these, it's not cheap anymore. It's not even going down to Noonan County. When you're going out 85, that's Noonan, Fairburn. Nope. 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 Listen, that's not bad at all. 2 bedroom apartment in New York City is $2,700 a month. That's not bad. San Pedro. Okay, let me see where San Pedro is. Pedro. Okay, let me see, where is this? Where is San Pedro? Oh, over there by Long Beach. Okay, that's not bad, but listen, if he has to drive to LA for work, that's hell. That's hell. That's hell. What does he have for this 1,400 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom? I want to know what he has. I want to know what his amenities are. I want to know what his amenities are. I want to know what this place looks like. Okay. I need to know the location because that's the greater LA area. Mm-mm. Okay. And LA is 2 hours away from LA. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you all something. Where we lived before we moved last year. Matter of fact, I'll show you. I'll show you where we live. I'm gonna show you exactly where Q and Mr. Hoodoo used to live. Um, I'm gonna show you exactly where we used to live. Okay? Because I want you all to see for real. Now, granted, where we lived was it was nice, right? And we were in like a walking community where you really didn't have to like get in the car for anything. Um, this is where Mr. Hoodoo and I used to live. This is where we lived last year before we moved. Okay. So let me click so you all can see. Okay. Um, we're not doing that. Don't sell my personal information. Okay. So this is where we lived. Um we lived in this is where we live. Mr. Hood and I had lived here. The flats at Sunny City Line in Sunnyvale. We lived in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment with a den. Okay, so this was our bedroom, double sink, shower, all like that, closet. Okay, okay, cool. So let's see, like, what is the pricing? Because this is what we live. This is where we live. Okay, view on map. Do you see what this price is? Do you see what this price is? Do you all see what that say? $5,099. This is where we lived last when we first got to California. This is where we lived. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a den. It was 1,200 square feet. $5,000 for rent. And this is the cheap building. The building across the street is higher than this. $5,000 for rent. Mhm. California is not cheap. And this was a decent apartment, having the dishwasher, the decent stove, the decent microwave. We had Nest thermostats. Like I said, in our bathroom, we had the separate tub and shower. We had a walk-in closet. We had a balcony. It was really nice. The buildings had elevators. So, when you come into the parking garage, the elevator comes down to the basement, take the elevator up to your floor. Um, all of the things. I lived in an area where Whole Foods was a block and a half away. Target was right across the street. Um, Nail salons, restaurants, not barely a 10-minute walk. The Caltrain station was right there. If you wanted to take Caltrain, there were banks. There were like all these restaurants where you can go eat. The movie theater, AMC Sunnyvale, is right there. There's a park. Like it really was like a community where you could just walk. You didn't really need a car because you had grocery stores, you had the movie theater, you had nail salons, you had the yoga studio, you had the boxing studio, you had banks, you really didn't need to leave. Like I said, Target was right there if you needed some stuff. But baby, it was high. Yes, this was cheap, honey. This is cheap. This is cheap. This is the cheap one. This is the cheap one. Okay? Because the building that opened up across the street, the Martin, 1 bedroom in the Martin is $5,000. I'm going to say it again. 1 bedroom, okay, in the Martin, the building across the street from where we used to live, was $5,000. This was a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom for $5,000. California is high. Okay. So when people out here talking about they want to come to the Bay Area and they budget for a 1 bedroom is $2,500, baby, you barely get in a studio. You are barely getting a studio. Okay. So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. These motherfuckers doing this cremation of care at Bohemian Grove every year. It doesn't have to be like this. Shelter doesn't have to be that much. Okay? Shelter doesn't have to be that much. Mm-mm. Yes, we paid $60,000 a year for rent. $60,000. And that was just rent. That wasn't the electric bill. That wasn't gas and water. That wasn't gas for our cars. That wasn't groceries. That wasn't any trips that we took. That wasn't any, we're going out to eat, spend some quality time together. That's what it was. Okay? That's what it was. So like I said, these motherfuckers, they go to Bohemian Grove every year. They engage in ritual murder, the death of humanity. This is what they do at Bohemian Grove. A lot of the shit that society deals with, the crazy prices, the trying to sell you cheap shit for money, like there is no reason that a polyester dress should be $100. Okay. The way you can't get your medicines because the company feel like they got to make money off of this is medicine for people to live. But all of this, them motherfuckers at the Bohemian Grove, like I said, they engage in the ritual murder of humanity every year. And this is why they don't care about you. This is why society is the way it is. This is why, okay, there's nothing wrong with making money. There is something wrong with excessive greed. And they all play together, the presidents, the CEOs of these companies, the military people, they're making decisions about humanity and about the world at this place. I'm gonna drop a link for just a moment in case anyone has something that they want to say about this or any comments that they want to share. Okay, people should not be out here struggling. To same thing when the Rona happened. When the Rona happened, it was people out here talking about where's my money for rent. Baby, people can't go to work. People are losing their jobs. How the fuck are they supposed to pay rent if they can't go to work or they just lost their job? Like, I at least give credit to other countries that said, hey, these people don't have to pay utilities or rent or mortgage because niggas ain't supposed to be going outside. The cooties are outside. I at least give other countries that. But baby, the United States is a motherfucker. This is my country. I'm born here. My parents are born here. My grandparents. I'm a U.S. citizen. Okay, lineage been here for centuries. But at the same time, it'd be a lot of bullshit happening. Some of it is at Bohemian Grove. And this is what I'm saying. Like, we need, and I say we, humanity, society needs to understand that it is not Democrat against, not in essence. It's not Democrat against Republican. It's not different races against other ones. It really should be all of the people rising up against these motherfuckers, putting belt to ass, and just restart society over because shit doesn't have to be like this. These are the same people that say, like, even if you buy a house and you pay off your mortgage, you still have to pay taxes every year. In other countries, And I'm not saying other countries are better than the United States, but what I am saying, if you buy something in another country, you're not paying them extra taxes on it. Once you bought it, it's yours. Not these fucking taxes every year. We can solve the ills of society, but these Bohemian Grove visiting motherfuckers won't allow it. They don't care. They don't care. Yep. It's the wealthy scumbags against everybody else. You don't need $1 billion. You can't even spend it in your lifetime. Your children probably can't spend it. And I get generational wealth, setting your children up to have a better, head start, but some of this is fucking ridiculous. But like I said, keep falling for the, well, they did this and they didn't do this. Listen, they're all scumbags. They're all scumbags. They're pederasts, they're PDF files. They just be out here scamming. And that's why they were scared when your main man Luigi did what he did. That's why they were scared. Because for once it was a target on one of them. Once you wake up, you know, like we have to pay for water. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just think about it. Just think about society. Think about all this shit that doesn't have to be. It's them motherfuckers that go out to Bohemian Grove. It's them people that go out to Bohemian Grove and decide this shit. This is why they don't want us to rise up. This is why they don't want us to realize this shit. And they distract us with so much. But yeah, them people that out there doing ritual murder on humanity every year. That's why I'm so happy where we live now, because baby, to go outside and pick fruit off the trees, to get herbs and stuff from the garden, being closer to nature, seeing nature, it's so much better. It's so much better. So okay. Do y'all have any questions or anything? I'm about to get out of here. What did you all think about this? Like I said, I know this wasn't a fun stream. Um this wasn't a fun stream. This wasn't a messy stream. This was like really information, and it was kind of boring. Because some people just can't sit through quote unquote lecture. Which is why a lot of motherfuckers can't read now, because they won't even sit and be patient and read or listen, right? Literacy rates are just in hell in this country. But because if it's something that's not entertaining, then they won't pay attention. But what did you think of this? What did you all think of this? What did you all think about this? Oh, snap, babe calling me. Isis says, not boring at all. Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. I'll be out here trying to inform y'all of what's really going on. Okay, because they out there with the owl goddess. Okay, that's why I say these people tell you that they're not doing magic. They tell you that magic is evil. They tell you all this stuff, but they're out here doing these rituals in nature with the elements, asking for the owl goddess for wisdom. But they telling you to do something else. Yeah, okay. She said it was interesting. She said, I wasn't expecting that. No care. It wasn't boring to me at all. Growing process said I loved it. Okay. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that, this was I'm glad. I'm glad. Like I said, there's a lot out here that's right in front of people's faces that they don't know about. And this is why I'm doing this series so you all can know. She said, I knew they were out there, but to actually hear what they were doing, wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for being here with me for another episode of Esoterica Obscura. Tomorrow we're gonna have something a little more colorful for you to look at. Something that I didn't even know about until maybe like a month or two ago. Um, we're gonna examine one of these Disney cartoons tomorrow. We're gonna examine one of these Disney cartoons tomorrow. Like I said, you just cannot leave your children in front of in front of the TV. You really have to be. And listen, I'm not a parent. I'm not telling you how to parent. What I'm saying is that there is so much more out there, and a lot of stuff is being fed to children. Okay. The crazy Christians, they weren't all wrong when they were saying it's a bunch of magic and shit in these shows. They weren't wrong. Okay. Their message, it was the delivery. Okay. We're gonna examine some shit that came from Disney. We're gonna examine some of it tomorrow. So if you are interested in what I'm going to show about this Disney content tomorrow, make sure you're back here, same time, 3 o'clock, so we can get into it. Okay. As one cat said, very interesting and informative. Isis says, more of these types of conversations need to reach the ears and eyes of others. People have been shut down from simply thinking, considering some things. Absolutely. 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 Yeah, California, listen, I'm putting it together to because it's some shit out here in California. It's some things I was just like, oh really? That happened. Okay. It's some things out here in California now. Okay, some things out here in California. California is this weird, the whole like hippie movement of like the 60s and shit. Why do you think a lot of it was based here in California? When you think about hippies, okay, you're thinking about California. You do not think about hippies as it pertains to Chicago. You don't think about hippies in New York. You think about hippies and the West Coast, maybe Washington. But when you think about hippies, I'm pretty sure California comes to mind. And nope, it's not the Little Mermaid. It's not the Little Mermaid. So stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow. Esoterica Obscura next week. Next week, we are going to have our community day for free tarot readings. That's going to be a day next week. Okay. Community day for tarot readings. That's going to be a day next week. Also, if you want milkshake, or if you have not yet paid for your milkshake, tomorrow, October 17th, 2025, is the deadline to submit your coins for milkshake. I am ordering the supplies on Saturday, October 18th. You need to submit your money via my Cash App by tomorrow, October 17th. Send me an email to QUE@eclectictarot.com. Someone please, one of the mods, put my email address in the chat. Okay. Submit an email to me. Tell me how many bottles of milkshake you want. I will tell you the pricing. I will send you the email with the pricing. Okay. But you have to send me your money by tomorrow, Friday. I'm ordering the supplies on Saturday. I'm only ordering enough supplies for the people who paid their money So if you want a bottle or you want 2 bottles, you need to submit your money by tomorrow. I'm only ordering enough bottles and other supplies for the number of bottles that can be bought from the people who paid their money. Okay? Yep, Manson family is here. Attitude and Tylenol, email me. I will tell you. Email me and I will tell you. I will send you an email right back. You just tell me how many bottles you want. Okay? I'm going to tell you the pricing. This is going to be priority shipping so that you can go cuss the post office out if they lose your shit and get your money back. Okay? This is not going to be a free shipping. Baby, the post office steals. These people driving these little post office stuff, they steal. But with priority shipping, there's insurance and we can file the claims and get your money back through the post office. Okay? Priority shipping, 2 to 3 day shipping. Okay? Yeah, I was done with Bimbo's initiation too. I was just like, this is some sick shit. But yeah, thank you so much. You've been here all my life and you just all right, y'all, but for real, I'm gonna go. So I love y'all very, very much. I'm gonna see y'all. I got somebody just emailed me. So I just seen an email pop up. So who that? Okay. I see you. First name starts with A, last name starts with H. I see you. I'm going to email you back. Okay. She said, yep, they stole my package. That's why I'm sending everybody shit with priority mail. So we can all go and cuss the post office out if they ain't doing right. Okay. You can get your money back. Okay. Okay, girl. I got you. I got you, girl. I got you. I'm about to email you back. Okay. All right, for real. I'm gonna go. I love y'all so much. We'll be back tomorrow. I got a little tidbit. Let me just say this one last thing. These people are not slick. I'm gonna have a little uploaded video to share with y'all. I'm gonna have a little uploaded video to share with y'all. That'll either be tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, they're not slick. I'm telling you, there is purpose and magic and energy, ritual magic behind some of everything that we're out here seeing. Okay, so I love y'all. I'm gonna go. Talk to y'all later. Bye.